Vanakkam. Today, we are going to see another very interesting part of peer review guidelines 2022. So, any practicing unit, if they want to register and they want to do the peer review as per the peer review guidelines of 2022, they have to apply in Form 1. We are going to deal with form number 1. It has been covered in two parts. One is application form and next one is questionnaire part. Questionnaire part has got various parts and we are going to see first the application part as well as the questionnaire part, and part by part we can see the questionnaire. We will analyze what are the things that every practicing unit has to submit. So here the practice unit has to submit the application cum questionnaire towards peer review process. Suppose if the practicing unit, if they want to do the peer review, they have to apply in form number 1 along with the questionnaire. That is, all the questionnaire should be properly filled, and the application has to be submitted to, and it is should be addressed to the Secretary, Peer Review Board, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICI Bhavan, Post Box number 7100, Indraprastha Marg, New Delhi. So in that address, you have to submit the application. Next one is, what are the particulars that you have to submit? That is, what are the points that you have to see? What is the name of the firm? What is the name of the member? What is his membership number? What is the firm registration number? Then what is the peer review period to be covered? So from and to, that also you can intimate in that form number 1. So information that they have gone through in peer review guideline 2022. So where they have got the information at the website or other places, everything they have to clearly submit it, form number 1. Then practice unit has to apply why. So the reason for applying the peer review is, one is it is mandatory by ICA, and second one is it is voluntary. Voluntarily, anybody can go and any member can go and do the peer review. And if it is a new unit also, it is permitted and as directed by any regulator. If SEBI directs, SEBI is one of the regulator. So as directed by any regulator, peer review can also be undertaken. And sometimes a special case of review, which is initiated by the peer review board. So there also you can do the peer review, and sometimes as per the decision of the board. From there also you have to apply. So this is a base based on which you have to apply for the peer review. Now, peer review unit has to get the list of signed reports. Has to get the list of signed reports. It is not without signature. These things are not to be covered under peer review period. So, what are the types of assurance services that practice unit has given? It's a central statutory audit, internal audit, tax audit, concurrent audit, certification work, and any other thing as specified by the board. And here the practice unit has to submit its major claim, such as banks, insurance company, manufacturing company, individual, trading, or any other parties. So this major client is left to the decision of the practice unit. So all these units, they have to submit. Now, there's a specific declaration regarding, that is, practice unit has to submit the specific declaration regarding that they have conducted the statutory audit or they have not conducted the statutory audit of the listed enterprises in India or abroad as defined under SEBI LODR 2015 during the review period. Then apart from that, now the peer reviewer peer practice unit has been given the option to choose the reviewer. So that reviewer may be from the same city or outside city, or either one or two, that is from same city or outside city. Now, next one is preferred city in the case of option 2. That is, option 2 is outside. So from outside India, outside city, which city that is preferable to the peer reviewer, practice unit, they have to give the information to the peer review board. Then the practice unit has to submit its mail ID towards communication, because everyone has to communicate to the practice unit. So what is the communication email ID? That also they have to submit. Then the address to which the peer review certificate after completion of the peer review has to be submitted, has to be sent to the practice unit by the board. So the address has to be clearly mentioned. So what are the additional details? In case of addition, everything is common. But in case of new unit, that is new unit is which has been established within 12 months, less than 12 months, and more than 12 months where no engagement has been carried out. So they have been classified under the category of new unit. So partner details who is holding the peer review certificate. Already the partner who is holding the peer review certificate and the validity period. The practice unit details to hold the peer review certificate and validity period, and the employees of practice unit who is holding, that is the employee of practicing unit means it's a paid chartered accountant holding a peer review certificate with a validity period, and partner qualified to test organized by the board towards peer review. That is who is which partner they want to take care of the take care of the peer review. And practicing unit qualified the test of the board. So that means the practicing unit, they must qualify the test organized by the board towards peer review. That is, the peer reviewer must qualify the test. Then practice unit has to declare that the policies, procedures, and infrastructure are in conformity with the standards on quality control. That is SQC1. So here the practice unit has to clearly define a specific indication that the practice unit has to define the policies, procedures, and infrastructures in advance. And the practice unit has to give the undertaking that it has carried out the statutory audit of the listed entity. Suppose in case the practice unit has carried out any statutory audit listed entity, and who has in charge, which partner is involved in the audit of the listed company for the last 3 years. In last 3 years, who has taken care of the audit of the listed company. Then practice unit involved in audit of listed company in 3 years. One is partner. Next one is in case if it is a proprietary firm and if they are taking care of the listed company, and their name should also be mentioned in form number 1 in application part. So here the practice unit nominates his partner to do the peer review process. That is, he is practice unit for the practice unit. He is the person in charge of taking care of the peer review process. Then practice unit has to furnish the mail ID and the contact mobile number of that member. So this is clearly mentioned in that form number 1. So now the practice unit has to submit a specific declaration. This is a must for every practice unit because they want themselves to do to go for the peer review process. That is, the detail furnished by practice unit are true and correct as borne out by the facts to the best of knowledge and belief. Next one is peer review certificate issued based on the report of peer review does not provide immunity from disciplinary or legal proceedings or actions initiated against practice unit or its partners or employees. Then undertake to pay the fees to the peer reviewer within 7 days from the date of receipt of the invoice from the peer reviewer. Then undertake and agree that the certificate can be revoked for any reason stated in the peer review guidelines of 2022. In case the practice unit has violated and if the practice unit they have not fulfilled the terms and conditions as stipulated by the peer reviewer also, then sometimes the certificates may be obtained by way of giving wrong information. So under peer review guidelines, those certificates may be cancelled. So for that also, the practice unit they have to undertake the give the declaration. Then the application should be duly signed by the proprietor or partner with the membership number and date. This is very, very important. This is part 1. This is a very, very important area wherein you have to concentrate on this form number 1. And so far we have discussed about the application part. Now we are going for the next area, that is we are going to see the questionnaire part. We are going to see this questionnaire part we are going to see, and that is this questionnaire part is being divided into three parts: part A, part B, part C. We are going to discuss here the part A, that is profile about the practice unit. What are the things that a practice unit has to submit in part A, the questionnaire? In questionnaire, you have got three parts. That remaining two parts we will see later. We'll see part A here. So the practice unit has to submit the name of the practice unit and which area they have to conduct the peer review, whether the peer review has to be conducted for the head office or branch, and what is the address of the head office or branch as per the ICA records, and what's the email ID and website of the practice unit. Then point number 5, the practice unit has to submit, has to say that whether it's a proprietorship concern or partnership concern or LLP, or the practicing unit is being taken care of by the practicing individual. And the date of establishment of practice unit should be clearly mentioned in case of, because in case of partnership firm, you can have the date of formation and as well as the LLP. With reference to individuals or proprietorship firm, the date of enrollment with ICA and COP, that has to be mentioned. And point number 6, what is the firm registration number? In case of firm, what is firm registration number you have to submit, and the what is the in case of members, suppose if it is not a firm and if he is doing in own name, he has to mention the membership number here. Is there any network of the firm? If there is any availability, if it is there, then the practice unit has to submit the name of the network, since when the networking is entered into, and is there any exit from new network recently? Suppose if anybody left the networking recently, that has to be mentioned, and if yes, what is the reason why they have left? That has also to be clearly mentioned. In the period of assurance also to be made from and to, is it for 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, as per the direction of board, you have to mention the here, and who is in charge of the peer review, and his name should be clearly mentioned along with the mobile number and email ID, because everybody wants to contact that peer review person in charge. That is, peer reviewer has to contact that peer review person in charge, so that details have to be submitted. Here, the particulars, point number 11, particulars about the constitution of the practice unit during the period under review. That is as per form 18 that is being filed with the ICA. Is there any assurance service like statutory audit, taxation is headed by different partners? In case of individual, only one person is there, but in case if it is a firm or LLP, there are different partners who has conducted the audits. So here they have to submit the name of the sole proprietor, partner name, membership number, association with the practice unit for how many years, and is there any post qualification or certificate courses pursued within or outside the ICA, professional experience in practice. So predominant area, whether they are concentrating on audit or tax audit or consultation, etc. What is the details of the changes? So when they joined, when they left, everything, because after signature also that partner would have left the form. So that details also they have, you have to give in form number 1 in the part questionnaire part A. So what is it? What I mean, you have to also submit the particulars of chartered accountants, employed, paid or consultants as on, that is what is the last date for the block period of review. You have to submit. Point number 13, details of the other employees as on, that is the period up to which the peer review is covered. You have to mention the details of the other employees, that is the semi-qualified, article assistant, administrative others, administrative others, everything you have to submit. Then point number 14, it says if the practicing unit has any branch office, one thing you have to remember, that every branch office of the CA has to be, our practice unit has to be under the in charge of one charter accountant. So here the practice unit has how many branches, and furnish all those details in this column, point number 14. And is there any services rendered also, that also they have to submit. How is the control procedure followed? What is the control that they are having, that the branches they are following? as per the head office norms, or whether they are branch, they have got their own control procedure or not. That also they have to submit. And whether any periodic sample testing of the clients handled by the branches, if there is anything, any assurance of services rendered, what are the sample method that the branch they have adopted to handle those customers of the branch. And here, gross receipts of the practice unit. So here both the for the head office and for the branches, as per the accounts from assurance functions for the period under review. What is the period of peer review? That total gross receipts have to be mentioned. That is head office wise, branch wise, and it is applicable only for the financial year, and this can be given in lakhs. Or total gross receipts of the practice unit, both head office and branches, as per the books of accounts for the period under review. In case of centralized billing, sometimes a branch they are billing separately, head office is separating billing separately. Then if it is a centralized billing, then that turnover will be added with head office. Otherwise, separate figures have to be given for every financial year, and head office wise and branch office. Then concentration. Further, that is the details of the where the professional fees from any client exceed 15% of the total gross receipts of the practice unit. Suppose if the practice unit gross receipt is 1 crore, and if it works out to 15%, it works out to 15 lakhs. More than that, if any client is paying, that details you have to give party wise. And also the percentage, that is what is the type of services the practice unit has rendered, and which for which financial, everything has to be given in detail here. Whether the practice unit has undertaken self-evaluation as per the digital competency maturity model 2. If yes, when. So this detail also the practice unit has to submit. Has the practice unit been subject to peer review in the past? Suppose if the practice unit has already been subjected to peer review in the past, those details they have to submit, whether that certificate is has got the validity or not. So everything they have to give separately. Here, point number 20 is very important. Whether partner or employee of the practice unit. Here, if the partner, if he is subject to disciplinary committee proceedings, or if the employee is subject to disciplinary committee proceedings, for the past 3 years, in any capacity also, they have to, that is the practice unit has to submit to the board. Here, they have to mention the name of the partner or employee, membership number, case number. Suppose case number here means the disciplinary case number, whether found guilty or not. Here, one thing we have to say that even if the reprimand word is also, according to me, if the word, if they are using that reprimand, that also we can take it as guilty. Next point is 21. Whether the client has obtained through the process of tendering. That is there any tender process? Through the tender process, whether that client has come to this practice unit for the purpose of getting the assurance services. If that is there, then the same thing has to be furnished. Then the practice unit has to submit the assurance clients where reports and certificate has been signed during the period under review, financial year, and branch wise as per the annexure A. Please use the additional sheet for year wise. That means the practice unit has to give a separate list for the report signed, certificate issued, everything they have to maintain. So it's a clear indication from the peer review board that every chartered accountant has to maintain a proper record. Which type of service is as issued, everything he has to maintain the records. Now, in annexure A of part A, that is the clients obtained through tender may please be marked with the word tender in bracket. Suppose if the client, if the practice unit has got the client through tender process, then everything has to be clearly mentioned by the practice unit. Whether if they got the tender from bank, insurance company, NBFC, central or state public sector undertakings, and enterprises which is listed in India, also you have to submit asset management companies or mutual funds, entities preparing in the financial as per the in AS, any body corporate including trust or covered under public entity. So everything the practice unit has to fill and submit along with the evidence. So entities which have raised funds from public or banks or financial institutions or by way of donation contributions over 50 crores of rupees under the period under review. So entities which have been funded by central government and state government schemes of over 50 crores should also be specifically submitted by the practice unit to the board. And entities having net worth of more than 100 crores or having turnover of more than 50 turnover of 250 crores or more should also be mentioned. And if there is anything, if the practice unit they want to submit, that also can be included here. So the annexure of this part one is very, very important. It gives everything in detail. And what are the types of engagement? That is central statutory audit, tax audit, internal audit, others, that is concurrent, GST, certification, everything they have to submit. All these are coming under the category of assurance services, but it does not include. So these services, the following things you need not submit, or you should have record. And if you are being asked to produce, you have to produce, but it is being not covered under the definition of assurance services, that is management consultancy engagements, representation from various authorities, engagement to prepare tax return or advising clients in taxation matters, engagement for the compilation of financial statement, engagement solely to assist the client in preparing and compiling or collecting the information other than the financial statement, justifying and as an expert witness, providing expert opinion on the points of principles such as accounting standard or applicability of certain laws on basis of acts provided by the clients, engagement for due diligence. So these things they have to submit. All these details have to be submitted by the practice unit to the board as a part of part A, as a part A with reference to the practice units profile or details. So with this, I'm just stopping the presentation here with reference to the application part as well as to the questionnaire part. In that question, we have covered only part A portion. Remaining portion we will see later in this program, in this type of program later. And thank you very much for watching this presentation. Nandri, வணக்கம்.